And welcome back to the One Person Pretends to Be Two People to Have a Conversation About Fantasy and Folklore podcast. This evening we have a very special guest. It is my pleasure to introduce me with a different voice put on to allow the audience to differentiate between the two characters. Thank you so much, Me1. It has always been my dream to be invited to this podcast. If I'm not mistaken, you have invited me on today to talk about the Lay of Fafnir? Indeed, Me4. Tell me, what is that story about? Well, you see, it's about this hero, Sigurd, and his quest to kill the greedy dragon Fafnir. The dragon has killed his father and betrayed his brother Regin to steal the gold. In fact, it is Regin who calls Sigurd to action. Sigurd travels to the dragon's lair, called Nidaheath, and slays him. Before he dies, Fafnir warns Sigurd that the gold will cause his doom. Once Fafnir is slain, Regin tells Sigurd to cook Fafnir's heart for him to eat. While testing to see if the heart is cooked, Sigurd burns himself and accidentally drinks a little bit of Fafnir's blood, which allows him to understand the speech of the birds. From the birds he learns that Regin is planning to betray him, so he kills Regin and takes the gold and journeys home. Fascinating! Anyway, our contract requires that for this episode, we talk about a story that follows a hero's journey model and has an origin in a place with a cold climate. From what you've said, it sounds like it roughly fits a hero's journey. Where is it from? Tell me! Well, according to an introduction written by Charles W. Dunn for the 1990 edition of Poems of the Elder Edda, the Lay of Fafnir is from Norse mythology, so the place where it could be said to have originated includes Sweden, Norway, Greenland, Iceland, and Denmark. Poems of the Elder Edda, translated by Patricia Terry, can be found on the JSTOR database. Okie dokie. I suppose that is cold enough. And it has a dragon? Yes, Fafnir, who Sigurd goes on a quest to kill, is a dragon. Okay, do you think the story has any connection to greed at all? Why, yes. In fact, this was one of the first things I thought of theme-wise. I think that the story is meant to illustrate how being too greedy can lead to terrible acts. Tell me, how so? Well, I can think of two examples offhand of people betraying others in the story for the hoard of gold. One in Fafnir's backstory and another after Fafnir is defeated. The betrayers in question are Regin and Fafnir, and both times they betray people for the gold. Well, I suppose Regin didn't quite get the chance to betray Sigurd. In Fafnir's backstory, he killed his father, Hradmar, and betrayed Regin to take the gold. That is the hoard that Sigurd takes when Fafnir is slain. Secondly, Regin plans to betray Sigurd, but Sigurd learns of this from the birds and kills him to take the hoard of gold. Please remind me, where can this riveting story be found? An English translation by Patricia Terry, listed as a chapter in the book's Poems of the Elder Edda, can be found in the JSTOR database. The Volsunga Saga is a version of the story in Old Norse. Thanks! The final part of our show is here. The trivia game. Do you know the rules? No. You will answer one question about today's subject. If you get it right, you will win $5 whole. If your answer is incorrect, you'll be trapped in a subterranean dungeon for all of eternity. Are you ready? I suppose. Good! According to the article, an overview of the northern influences on Tolkien's work by Gloriana St. Clair, what famous author enjoyed and might have taken inspiration from Norse and Anglo-Saxon stories such as the Volsunga Saga and Beowulf? Can I get a lifeline? No lifelines. Perhaps Frank Herbert? No, you silly goose! Now to the dungeon with you! The correct answer was John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. Well, that's our time. Tune in next time to One Person Pretends to Be Two People Who Have a Conversation About Fantasy and Folklore.